An update now on a story that could impact the upcoming tax filing season for district residents. The district continues to spar with Congress after lawmakers took action to overturn a portion of the D.C. tax code. Well, today, the D.C. Attorney General issued an opinion that the legislation passed by the GOP majority in Congress and signed by the president is actually not valid. News 4's Mark Segraves has the latest.
President Trump's signature piece of legislation last year, his so-called One Big Beautiful Bill, included several tax breaks at the federal and state levels. Several states, some Republican and some Democrat, and D.C. decided not to implement some of those cuts locally, a process called decoupling. Earlier this month, Congress passed a disapproval resolution signed by President Trump intended to force D.C. lawmakers to follow the federal tax cuts, a move D.C. lawmakers warned would create chaos for taxpayers in the middle of tax season. But today, D.C.'s elected Attorney General Brian Schwab issued this 12-page opinion that argues the congressional legislation is not valid law, primarily because it was not retroactive and therefore has no bearing on the current 2025 tax filings. Schwab went on to opine that Congress was also too late in taking action, missing the 30-day deadline to overturn legislation from the D.C. Council. Council Chairman Phil Mendelson tells News 4, "It affirms our position. The law has become law and Congress acted too late. We also have to balance this against the bullying targeted at the district by Republicans." The bullying Mendelson refers to is legislation Republicans could push to remove the elected Attorney General and allow the president to appoint D.C.'s AG. Florida Senator Rick Scott was one of the proponents of the legislation to force D.C. to follow the federal tax cuts.
It's unfair. I mean, we reduce taxes for all Americans, and then D.C. doesn't want to reduce the taxes for the people that live here. So it's wrong. Congress acted. We acted properly. It's our right to act. In the Constitution, we are responsible for the district. And so I'm going to do everything I can to make sure they get their tax cuts. I think we ought to get rid of local government. I think Congress ought to run it again. So we don't just have to appoint them. Congress ought to run the place. I mean, they won't even. I've been up here 7 years. They will not pick up my trash. They know it. I've told them. I've told the mayor, and they won't pick up my trash. It's completely dysfunctional.
If Congress were successful in overturning the D.C. tax code, it would reinstate several tax breaks for D.C. residents, including no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, tax breaks on some car loans, as well as a $6,000 tax credit for seniors. But it could cost the district more than $600 million in revenue over the next 4 years. It is now up to the D.C. Chief Financial Officer whether or not to follow the Attorney General's guidance. A spokesperson for the CFO tells News 4 his office is reviewing the opinion. In the district, Mark Segraves, News 4.
Important to note that if the CFO follows the Attorney General's guidance, it could open the door for either the Trump administration or a D.C. taxpayer to challenge D.C.'s tax code in court.